Good day, this is Sylvie with another weekly health tip. Today I will be talking about ear candling. I love it myself as an experience. I've ear candled my son's ears. It helps to remove excess wax from the ears. There's also many other health benefits that I just looked into most recently because some friends of mine wanted some ear candling. They were having some issues with their ears and I was able to help them with that. So that felt really great. And other benefits are actually some people experience better eyesight after. I guess it's all connected, right? The ears and the canals and all that. So it influences your sinuses can feel better, your eyesight, your throat, because it's all connected. And so remarkably, it can influence other things than simply the health of your ears, which was a lovely discovery. And people have been doing this since the Egyptians and the Romans, so it's a very ancient healing tool. A lot of people don't know about it, so I thought I'd spread the word because I have had some good results. One thing that I find is before ear candling, what I like to do is soften the earwax ideally. I don't always have time. What I use is a few drops of tea tree oil in some black seed oil, and I put that in the ears. That helps to soften the earwax, and it also helps to kill any harmful bacteria or pathogens that might be in there. So you can use that even just on its own. I've actually used tea tree oil straight in my ears. I don't necessarily recommend that for everyone, or definitely not for children because it can burn, though I've had amazing results. I had this really weird pain, like I guess almost in the back of my ear. That was years ago. I can't even remember how long ago it was. And I put that in and it was miraculous. I also was talking to a woman, a colleague of mine, and she had had an injury from a bee sting in her ear and she hadn't heard properly since. She followed my advice, put some tea tree oil in her ear, and it completely healed. So, wow, that's amazing. So extra ear health tips along with the ear candling. And there are some safety precautions. It is relatively safe. I've used it on children, so you just need to be mindful. What I do is I use a paper plate and I cover it with aluminum foil. I know aluminum isn't ideal. You got any other kind of fire retardant. You can even actually almost probably, if it's stiff enough, you could just moisten or just give the paper plate a spray if you're really, really averse to using aluminum. Some people use aluminum pie plates. I just find they're kind of sharp all over and I don't want to be putting that near somebody's face. It's just, I don't like it. This is how I do it now. I put a hole in the middle. I prefer a bigger plate than this. The bigger, well, maybe not the bigger the better, but the next size up would be ideal. This is just what I happen to have on hand. And I don't even put it all over. So I just put it a little bit here, make sure there's no like sharp edges, because you actually will be putting this at the person's head. And I take the ear candle and put it through a hole here. There we go. And it goes into the person's ear. I will be doing a demo later. And then you want this to be very straight up, and the person should be lying down. And so that if it's at too much out of an angle, it increases the chances of possibly a little drop of the wax to go all the way down into the person's ear. That's very rare. And I just take that extra precaution just in case. And you're also involving fire, because what it does is it actually creates a suction. And here, this is hollow. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's hollow. There we go. And it creates a suction and it actually pulls the earwax out. Now, it's really fun and not recommended, though I do it anyways. I like to, once it's done, you usually do it until it's about, I don't know, depending. Your first time you want to do it a little further back, like anywhere from like 1.5 to 2 inches. With experience, you can go down a little lower. You don't want to go too low down, because that's when this part actually gets filled with earwax and all kinds of gunk and black stuff. And sometimes what I do is I take a very strong, sharp pair of scissors, because this is actually a cloth that it's on, and cut it open. The problem with that is there can be yeast in there, there can be pathogens, so you don't want to be breathing it in or reinfecting yourself. So ideally, for best health, is you don't do that. You just throw it out. You just trust that it's working. Personally, I'm just way too curious. So I kind of hold my breath and I'm very precautious and I cut it and I look to see what actually came out of my ear. And my friends seem to have the same idea as well. So we just kind of are very, very cautious and wash our hands and wash the scissors and put it directly into a plastic bag and close it and make sure that I'm not breathing strongly or close to it and making sure that I'm not disturbing the matter because it is kind of gross. Though very exciting. And let's see if there's anything else. Oh, what I would do actually before ear candling for the best results is I would do that oil trick, and I would do it for 4 or 5 days before, or at least 3 days before, every day, maybe once or twice a day or just before bed, just to soften that earwax. So you're going to get that much better results. Now, after you do an ear candling, you should not be submerged in water for 24 hours. It takes that much time to rebuild the basic wax in your ears. Also, if you're going to be exposed to the elements, it would be good to put cotton batting in your ears if it was really, really cold winds in the winter, only for extreme weather situations that would be useful. They recommend a few days after your ear candlings if there is strong winds or very cold winds. I think that's pretty much it. I will do a full-on demonstration, not from beginning to end, because it just takes a long time. It's like 15 minutes and you don't want to be watching me cutting things, the fiery tip off and just waiting. So I'll do the beginning and maybe I'll do the end and maybe I'll even be wild and show you the ending. We'll see how that all goes, how much time I have. And I have a trusty volunteer, my partner, who will help me out with that part. And I've got a whole list of do's and don'ts. Maybe I can just go through that. I went through a little bit. You can do about 1 to 7 ear candlings in a row or in a treatment or over a few days if your ears are really, really clogged to get them really clear. I usually tend to just do one. That works for me. You can experiment with that. And it takes about 15 to 25 minutes per candle to go down. And because it is a strong detox experience and it does warm your ear a little bit, I don't really notice that much warming in my ear when that happens. It's sometimes you can hear a little crackling sound and it's very relaxing. There's something really amazing just about the experience. And sometimes you can feel a little pulling sensation, very gentle. Since it is a detox process, it's recommended that you drink plenty of water for the next few days, or maybe even before would be ideal. And if you have issues with your ears, chances are there's some diet involved. So often dairy can aggravate ear wax buildup. Too much sugar and too many starches can do that as well. So you might want to adjust your diet as well. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with the same situation you did before you cleared your ears. Despite that, it's a wonderful treatment and it can help kickstart great health. And once it has been cleared out, then the ears may actually start to drain on their own properly because they've actually been cleaned out and all the gunk from who knows how many years or whatever has been in there has actually been removed, and then all of a sudden now things are functioning a lot more smoothly. So it is a very exciting process. And you can do ear candling approximately every 5 months, and if you find that you need to do it before then because you may have had an infection or you've had a cold or a detox, then you might want to do it. So you can't really do it too much. I wouldn't recommend you do it all the time. It's not something that you want to be, because your body has to rebuild the wax in your ears. So for regular treatments, twice a year or 3 times a year would probably be fine, especially once everything is working well. Some other safety precautions that I use is I use damp cloths. So I put usually kind of more, so this kind of cloth on the person's head behind. I'll show you behind the plate. And also I'll use a towel here that where the person can rest on, and sometimes I damp that off depending on your floors, what they're made out of. Sometimes even on the floor I'll put a few damp cloths just to make sure, in case like one of those little fiery pieces comes off and lands on the floor, you don't want to damage your floor. What a lot of people recommend is you have a little cup and you put the pieces in there. Just sometimes it doesn't always land there. Other tools that I use, sometimes I use tongs, metal tongs, to help me just in case it ends up where I don't want it to end up. And I think that will cover it. So I will get things organized and show you the next bit. And until we meet again, enjoy the help tip and enjoy the demo. So in terms of preparation, I just kind of ran some water, so this is kind of damp. And I wanted to dampen this towel here, so I just used my handy dandy sprayer, there, so that it could be damp without being too wet. So I've got my spray handy, I've got my fire handy, I love these. I've got my plate handy, I've got my ear candle. Another important thing is I keep my ear candles always in something firm, because if they get crushed, it's kind of they may not work as well, and that's when they can kind of have issues with the bead of wax going down. Metal tongs, strong kitchen shears, my little container, looking for a good place to put this. A nice added touch is you can play soft music while ear candling is being done. That's what we've chosen to do. You can dim the lights. I'm not going to because I'm filming. Yeah, I can make it an experience. I need to do this anyways. Mm-hmm. I can have a turn one day. Mm-hmm. Okay. How does that feel?
Yeah, don't push it in any further. That's pretty good, I think.
Okay, good. And can you hold it, please? Okay, so I set up a chair here and my water here to dump the stuff in here. I have my fire, my scissors, and I got it now. You can let it go, Bruce. Catch this. Actually, you know what? You're probably better off. Here, I'll just do it like this, because this will melt if it catches on fire. There. It's not want to light. Well, maybe it's got to go all the way down to the wax part. There we go. The idea is that we wait until there's enough burnt down to snip it off. Not too far down, but far enough. Ooh, and I got it in my container. It's just a process. You keep doing that until you get about 1.5 inches at the bottom. that one fell. Good thing I had the cloth on you. It would have fallen on your head. Fine, tipping the scissors back a bit. Hold on to it. Do it slowly, and even then it falls. There we go. That's why we've got the plate. Oh, there's stuff in there, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I left a fairly long bit. I don't know if you can see in there. There's definitely stuff going on in there. And then, how am I going to do this? I'm going to actually cut this down because I don't want to. Fairly tricky to cut. You need a really good pair of scissors. And sometimes I just don't go all the way. You can kind of see in there, I just don't want to go crazy opening it, releasing too much stuff. But there's definitely stuff going on in there. It's actually full. It's full almost right up to where I stopped. So this is a good measure, I'd say about 1.5 inches or a little bit less. And one thing that I do as well is, I didn't do it here because he's used to getting it done, is if I tell people to, if you feel like something hot is dripping in your ear at all, to tell me right away, because then I'll take it out. So it's just another extra precaution. I've never had it happen. So people always say, oh, if you look online, they say, oh, it's so dangerous, blah, blah, blah. And it's, I don't know. Again, I think if it's done carefully by someone who knows what they're doing, it should be fine. Enjoy.